You might be thinking to yourself, wait, have I seen this video before? No, you haven't. It's a brand new video, but it is on a similar topic that we've just been covering over and over again because things just keep changing. And as always, this is not a political video, and we're only going to discuss the facts that are outlined. And the reliable sources that has given me the information to form this video will be linked in the description below. But yeah, y'all probably saw the news Friday night. Student loans, cancellation. Is it happening or not? It's on, it's off, it's on, it's off, it's on, it's off. Well, right now it's on pause, I guess. There have been many legal actions taken against the Biden administration for the student loan forgiveness program. And what's happening right now is a result of one of them. 6 states, Arkansas, Nebraska, Missouri, Iowa, Kansas, and South Carolina. They all came together and decided to fight the program by saying the forgiveness would actually hurt state-based loan providers that are managing the federal loans. Now, with pretty much every legal challenge so far, a federal judge early last week actually dismissed the case. The judge said that those states had no standing as they were not able to provide any evidence to support their case. But with anything in our legal system, it was appealed and it went to the U.S. 8th Circuit of Appeals. Now that's where things are getting a bit spicy, as that's where a temporary hold has been placed. Now, don't get too excited if you're against student loan forgiveness, and don't get too disappointed if you're for it. This honestly doesn't mean much right now, says most legal experts. In the most basic terms, the court's essentially saying, all right, calm down, let us take a look. We're gonna let it sit over there while we actually hear the case. This is not an indication that they are going to cancel the program. This is not an indication that they're going to uphold the program either. So right now, it's just a wait and see. And lots of reports are actually indicating that we'll get some information early this week. Now, again, before this next point, I want to reiterate, because of the politics in the comment section and the politics in this country in general, this is not a political statement. This is not a political opinion. It is a simple fact that currently these legal challenges are not going very well. Even just earlier last week, Supreme Court Judge Amy Coney Barrett dismissed similar efforts from a Wisconsin taxpayers group. That being said, only one case needs to succeed for this whole thing to come crumbling down. And a lot of legal experts say that the best chance of that actually happening is this lawsuit from these 6 states. But let's see some of the waves that have been happening in our world since this happened just a couple days ago. Now remember, anyone with federal student loans who made less than $125,000 a year in the year 2020 or 2021, or any couple that made less than $250,000 a year in those same years, could qualify for up to $10,000 in student loan forgiveness. And if those individuals were recipients of Pell Grants, they could qualify for up to $20,000 in federal student loan forgiveness. If you wanted to know how excited people with federal student loans were for this, 22 million people applied for the program in just a week. But what does the Biden administration say people should do now, or what's going to actually happen? People from the administration actually say that student loan reductions would have started affecting accounts for people who have applied starting as early as tomorrow. But obviously with the stay, that's not happening. But the administration is saying people should still apply just in case the appeals court strikes down the lawsuit and things can resume. They also say that the temporary stay from the appeals court does not prevent the administration from reviewing applicants. So where do we go from here? Really, we should expect one out of 2 things to happen just within the coming days. Either the court will issue an injunction which will continue the pause for a longer period of time, or they will dismiss the case and the program can continue as it was. So crazy things are happening. And remember, just a few weeks ago when I made the last student loan update, the administration is tweaking around the program to make sure it's not held up by courts when states are making these challenges. The most recent change they did was getting rid of the FFEL loans, which impacted private institutions. So will any changes come from the current proposal for this program? I guess that's just a wait and see, just like everything else with this case right now. But what will the impacts be if things either get stopped or things continue to move forward? Well, shocker, we're kind of in a period of high inflation. And though a lot of the independent research done on the student loan forgiveness topic says that it won't increase inflation that much, it will still have a slight increase on inflation, and really anything that ticks that up more than it is right now, is that a good thing? But of course, proponents say that even if it just has a minimal impact on inflation, due to the inflation that we've already seen, the cost of goods going up, this extra money in people's pockets by, not having to pay on the debt will help people in the lower and middle classes. But the opposition counters that by bringing up the fact that 50% of student loan borrowers are actually in the top 2 quintiles of income groups. That being said, the income cap in the years 2020 and 2021 does kind of minimize this for people who are impacted. On the other hand, people who are in favor of forgiveness bring up the fact that people of color on average have 50% more student loans than white people. So the argument there is that a forgiveness program would help some of the inequities within our society. And of course, the most counter argument to that is that the government shouldn't be picking winners or losers, and that this is actually going to hurt people who never took out student loans in the first place. So as I've said in other videos, there actually are good fact-based arguments on both sides, and that's why I'm actually kind of torn on this issue. But what I'm not torn on is leaving people's financial future in confusion. I said it in the previous video and I'll say it again. Regardless if I think student loan forgiveness should go through or if it should get canned, what I do not like is that it is changing on a week-to-week basis, and Americans already have a hard time planning for their financial future. When student loan payments and interest resume in just a couple months, people want to know what their financial situations look like so they can make financial plans. Especially as we might be heading into a deeper recession or even higher inflation, who knows? People want to be able to prepare. If someone is among the 40% of people who have student loans and never got a degree, or among the 46.8% of Americans, if I remember the statistic right, that makes less than $30,000 a year, if they have $10,000 in student loans and they need to know, well, do I need to stockpile $10,000 to pay it off really quickly or make the minimum payments, or is $10,000 just going to go away because of the forgiveness program? That $10,000 equals a third of their income, and they literally need to know to plan for their future. And again, that's regardless of the opinion, should it be forgiven or should it not be. I think we can all agree we want people to be able to plan for their future. So strike it down or keep it going. I don't care at this point. Let people plan. But I want to know your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree with the federal student loan forgiveness? I know it can get a little spicy in the comments on topics like this, as it is pretty close to the political world. So keep it civil. Make sure to remember to subscribe if you like these kind of videos. Thanks. Do you know how much your student loan, do you know how much you took out? $250,000.
Oh, the 225. So that's just that is the interest that's accrued. Because if you see, this is the actual balance, and then this shows the interest and fees. And so the current balance is 225.
You're $250,000 in debt. Social work is so good, but you get paid nothing to take out so much money in debt.
But none of those loans are related to grad school.
How are you going to pay this off? How are you even going to come close to paying this off if you're losing? If you're losing $1,694 a month, how are you going to come? Where do you even start?
Well, right now, nothing is.
Especially since the smallest one is $28,000. No, that was the smallest taken out. The current balance of the smallest one is $37,000. That is the same size as the average student loan that anyone who goes to college has in the United States. Is right around that.